The military has recognized the efforts of the 18 soldiers who were wounded in a clash against the Abu Sayyaf group over the weekend.
The battle left 5 soldiers and 3 rebels dead. One of the Abu Sayyaf's leaders was also killed in the encounter. Dindo Flora has the report.
Western Mindanao Chief Lieutenant General Arnel de la Vega awarded medals to these 18 soldiers who were wounded in an encounter with Abu Sayyaf group in Patikul, Sulu over the weekend. They are part of the 5th Scout Ranger Battalion that traded gunfires with more than 100 bandits from the terror group. Sadly though, 5 of their colleagues lost their lives. The group was hunting down ASG leader Hadjan Sawadjaan. He is said to be the brain behind the twin blast at Mount Carmel Cathedral that left at least 20 people dead. De la Vega said, despite the loss, morale remains high among government troops as they bravely stood their ground in the clash that lasted nearly 2 hours. The enemies lost 3 fighters in combat, including one of their leaders known as alias Black Moro. At least 15 rebels were also wounded in the exchange.
Kahit na meron tayong mga casualties, dahil nakipaglaban talaga yung ating mga kasundaluhan, katunayan niyan ay nakapag-inflict din tayo ng casualties sa mga Abu Sayyaf armed groups.
The armed forces said that it's also working with Malaysian and Indonesian counterparts to monitor the enemy's movements.
We are further enhancing our cooperations with our counterparts with the other Asian armies. In particular with Malaysia and Indonesia, we have our trilateral cooperative agreement. So as far as intel monitoring is concerned,
as the fighting intensifies between government troops and terrorists, fear has also gripped residents in Sulu, as this was apparent on Sunday's Mass at the Heart of Jesus Christ Asturias Chapel, where fewer devotees took part in the Holy Eucharist. But for Elinda Gigante, who lost her brother in last week's bombing, there's no stopping her from exercising her faith.
Yung mga kapatid ko, saka yung mga relative ko, told me not to attend. But then, siguro yung faith ko ba, I have really faith in God. So, I attended.
Father Ramil Hankin believes that Catholics in Hulo are still reeling from the deadly bombings. But he's encouraged by the sight of the faithful who heard Sunday's Mass.
Although may mga decreases ng attendance, pero hindi natin maiwasan yan na yung kaba at takot na dyan pa rin, no? Pero kinukongratulate ko yung mga nagsisimba din kanina dahil nandyan pa rin sa kanila yung tapang na ipapakita pa rin sa buong mundo na tuloy pa rin ang buhay.
Authorities remain on high alert as they impose stricter security measures in churches. Still, military officials reassured residents that suicide attacks are not the norm.
We can say that those are isolated incidents or cases of suicide bombing. We should not interpret it as it is already the norm or the mode of operations by the terrorist groups. So, unang-una, hindi dapat natin tatakutin ng ating mga sarili na ganun na nga yung magiging trend.
For News 5, Dindo Flora, we are One News.